15 years of paychecks, 15 years of deductions. You've watched the deductions come out every single paycheck. You've told yourself it's the stable choice, the responsible adult move, the one guaranteed thing in an unstable career. But there's something nobody at your school is talking about in the faculty lounge, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The average teacher believes they'll receive around 70% of their final salary in retirement. That's what the district told you during orientation. That's what HR confirmed in writing. 70%. It's the anchor you've held onto since your first year teaching, that even though the salary is modest, at least the back end is solid. Except that number is a lie. Not a mistake, a lie. If this is your first time here, subscribe. I put out videos because no one teaches teachers about money. Hit the bell too, because this is exactly the kind of content that gets buried in an algorithm designed to recommend you cat videos instead. Now let's get into it. Defined benefit plans. That's the official name for your pension. Work like this. A formula multiplies your years of service by your final salary by a multiplier, usually around 2%. 30 years times 2% times your final salary equals your annual pension. Simple, guaranteed, secure. Except there's a ghost in that formula. It's called the final salary, and this is where the sleight of hand happens. Your final salary isn't actually your final salary, it's an average. In most districts, it's the average of your last 3 years. In some, it's the last 5. And here's what nobody emphasizes during those mandatory benefits meetings. Salary growth for teachers has stalled. The average teacher's salary increased by 3.2% annually from 2000 to 2010. From 2010 to 2020, it dropped to 1.1%. That gap compounds, and by year 30, your final salary is likely far lower than you expect. So the formula promises 70% of that averaged final salary, which sounds good until you do the actual math. If your final average is $85,000, which is actually above the national average for experienced teachers, 70% is $59,500 a year, before taxes. You have health insurance costs that increase with age. You can't work a second job easily because you're already teaching 5 periods. And that $59,000 is frozen. It doesn't grow with inflation. In 10 years, inflation erodes it by roughly 30% in purchasing power. In 20 years, you're living on something closer to $30,000 in today's dollars. Let that sink in. $30,000 in today's money, after 30 years in a classroom. But here's where it gets darker, and this is what the teachers' union doesn't want you calculating. It's actually the state that is responsible for ensuring that your pension fund has enough money when you retire. This is called funding status, and across America, it's a disaster. California's CalPERS is funded at only 79%. Illinois is worse still at only 47%. When a fund falls below 80%, it's underfunded. When it's below 40%, pension experts agree you're probably at the point of no return. Your retirement is a promise backed by a fund that doesn't have the money. How does that happen? No, not corruption exactly. It's worse. It's structural inevitability. When the stock market booms, states tend to underfund pensions, assuming investment returns will make up the gap. When the market crashes, 2000, 2008, 2020, they're suddenly caught short. Meanwhile, teacher salaries have been so stagnant that districts haven't been able to contribute their full actuarial share for years. The real trap is the age you leave. Your contract might say you can retire at 55 with 30 years of service. But take that deal 5 years early and your pension gets reduced, sometimes by 6% per year. Leave at 50 instead of 55, and you're giving up 30% of your already low payment. They don't call them golden handcuffs for nothing. And there are other hidden mechanisms working against you that almost nobody discusses, like the fact that your pension is designed to assume you'll live to 82. That's the life expectancy the state uses to calculate their obligations. If you die at 79, they keep the surplus. Read that again. They keep it. But here's the part that makes teachers furious when they finally do the calculations. If you'd taken the portion of what was withheld from your salary over the past 30 years and put it into a boring, average S&P 500 index fund, even with zero matching from your district. You'd have well over $1 million by retirement in most states. Not $45,000 a year, but a big fat nest egg. Your kids could inherit it. Instead, you're locked into a promise that's mathematically guaranteed to deliver you less money, with zero flexibility, no inheritance, and a funding structure that's already cracking. The district knows this math. The administration knows this math. The union negotiators know this math. What they don't do is say it out loud, because saying it means admitting the entire post-war bargain with public employees, security in exchange for lower wages, is collapsing. Promises made in the 1970s can't survive in 2026. Admission means litigation, strikes, and acknowledging that your 15 years of payroll deductions have been partially funding a system that's mathematically designed to fail. So, what's the move? Here's the brutal part. You can't opt out. You can't redirect your contributions. You can't access your own money early. You can try to leave early and take the reduced pension, then invest aggressively in your 40s. But you've already lost 2 decades of compounding. Every option has been pre-poisoned. The teachers who are aware of this, and there's a growing number, are doing something quiet and unsettling. They're updating their wills. They're asking pension attorneys whether their spouse can refuse the reduced survivor benefit to access a lump sum. Some have started documenting HR conversations about benefit security, building a paper trail for a lawsuit that probably won't come for 15 years. When underfunding becomes unsustainable. The false comfort is that government pensions are protected. You've heard this. They can't just take it away, it's the law. True, but legal protection and funding are different problems. A law can protect your right to a pension while being completely silent on what happens when the fund runs out of money. When underfunding reaches critical mass, the solution won't be stop paying teachers. It'll be reduced benefits, a higher retirement age, and an extended earning period. The deeper trap is the one that already closed around you. You've organized your entire financial life around a promise that's slowly becoming mathematically impossible. You've avoided other investments because you told yourself the pension was the core. You've stayed in teaching jobs you might have left because the pension vested in 5 more years. You've declined freelance income because you feared it might affect benefits. You've made decisions as if the system is stable when the system is visibly decaying. The union leadership isn't hiding this maliciously. They're trapped too. The district isn't evil. They're implementing a policy that was rational in 1985 and is now a slow-motion catastrophe. The uncomfortable truth is that your retirement plan isn't fake in the sense that it doesn't exist. It's fake in the sense that it's become a shared fiction everyone's agreed to believe. You'll probably receive a check. It might even be close to what they promised. But it will be smaller than the math suggested, it will lose purchasing power every year, and it will be backed by a system that's already mathematically expired. The check will come. It just won't be enough. The only question is whether you see it before you sign away your 50s. If you're a teacher and nobody in your district is having this conversation, that's exactly why this channel exists. Subscribe and I'll keep doing the math they won't do for you. And better still, I'll give you precise instructions on how to turn the tables, to make teaching not just your love, but your most rewarding decision, in every sense of the word.